considered a relatively early flank. He's already entering short as the spike is planted, but the problem is everyone's dead, so they're watching the back, they're ready for it, and 1-0 BDS go. A convincing round there, running right into a trap essentially, but escaping from it immediately.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'll be honest. With walking into a pistol round where almost every single player is on that site, and Liquid still lose with 3 players standing, by the way, for BDS. It wasn't even that close. So, yeah, a bit of a shock horror to start things off for Team Liquid. And obviously for BDS, we know that they could run right in the first half at least with what we saw in that previous map. Now, I see Logan back on his old faithful. It gets me excited for this map, even though I think that in the coming months when KO, or as Harry likes to call him, Kalo, is brought in, I think maybe we might see that disappear for good. But realistically, for now, still a viable agent and still one I expect to see him put up crazy numbers.
So sneaky from Team Liquid here. They've actually managed to leave Cryptics in the corner down on long, but BDS aren't going to walk into it, unfortunately. Instead, they're coming out on the A site, where they've managed to wall it off and seize complete control. The spike on its way. Sage even goes back to meet them in short and make sure that they don't get caught by surprise. And this will be a plant for Killjoy, in fact, stacking up the ult orbs on Logan.
Yeah, good old KJ. That lockdown we know can do so much, especially when you consider on the other side, if they're not running us over, it becomes a little bit more difficult to destroy it. I know that Team Liquid had enough of other teams using all of Jonas's lineups to destroy those ultimates, so they've actually switched Yumpy off to not use Killjoy anymore, and now, well, they're not going to have the ability to destroy it themselves.
Hoppy has a really good chance to farm up some ult points. Having it on your Phoenix early, as we said earlier, so important at times. If you can manage to get that extra player for your bonus round. And, well, there we go. He's 1 away from it. They can get it coming into the start of the next round. If they don't hunt down Scream... Whoa, nice shot. Okay, so they won't end up with the ultimate of run it back, but they can take an ult orb to start this round off. On Haven, it can be a little bit difficult to find those ult orbs on the defensive side, but on the attack, especially C-Long, you're only really risking the spams. And in a round where you have Spectres and weaker weapons, this is definitely somewhere that you can find the value from being able to send Hoppy in first with the ulti and then have him back alive.
I'm actually curious as well if that was a decision by Scream to actually save for once, just to make sure he had the additional pistol. What? Scream's actually gone for just a Spectre in this round because he wasn't able to actually die and get himself a rifle into this next one. I was thinking, okay, a little bit weird, wanted to talk about it, just dashes in and gets 2 kills anyway. It makes no difference for the man.
Yeah, so like I said, that C-Long orb, very easy to get on the attacking side.
Are you Team Liquid's Twitter? Because that was an incredible jinx.
Oh, God. They've given me the power. Well, the plant is going to come in at the very least, and it's on Hoppy, so run it back is available. They're going to pop that and look to get a little bit aggressive. Hoppy.
Oh, no.
He's caught completely. And now, that ultimate used for nothing. Phantom in hand, flash around the corner, gets them nothing. They're buying time. Screams on the flank. Plenty of time to run down, and Hoppy really wants to force this fight, but he is getting nothing. In fact, they even wait for the wolf to go through on the back of the flash, getting even more information. And it all comes down to Logan with a Spectre in hand. He ain't got a chance. Finally, Scream's flank pays off as he grabs himself an ult orb. That was a really nice round from Liquid on the retake. Everything about it was so clean. I've never seen players actively avoid pushing with the Tiger for a flash. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty crazy.
So good. Was that multiple? That was multiple pieces as well. That was not only, I think that was the paranoia coming through as well to leave them completely blind alongside a fault line to leave them stunned. The fact is as well, Scream in the round before, I was almost questioning it a little bit. I think he did make a mistake staying alive. So he ends up in that round with a weakened weapon and they use it to take a big risk. So I like the fact that they almost turned a mistake into something really positive for the team with what he's able to do individually. And again, it was brought up how CNEB was just able to style on BDS. Well, If Scream's going to make those same sort of plays, take those risks, fight versus this team, man for man, pound for pound, there's a chance, and they're running into the judge. Something that Yumpy has been using pretty much since he first came onto the scene. No, you can't die to a turret, Scream. You cannot die. You can't die to. You just can't.
He has lost a couple points of health, but gets healed back up. Team Liquid, man advantage, Blade Storm to play with, and numbers. Flash on the back side, Scream gets onto site fully blinded, and they realize now it's completely clear. They're playing off the Killjoy ultimate, and oh, the Aftershock used actually gets Logan. Now the Killjoy can be pushed on and destroyed, but it leaves it into a 1v1. Scream on the late flank. The shock dart connects, and the body shot from Rodin's more than enough. That was really nice, putting 3 on the board for BDS and batting down Team Liquid's economy yet again.
That clutch from Rodin was so unbelievably clean. Not only using the lockdown as almost like bait to get himself the kill, but then also that shock dart at the end was just beautiful. Quick reactions to actually do so much damage to Scream. He took more damage to utility in that round than he did from actual weaponry. So 3-1. BDS, they bounce back. Of course, the round that they lost was technically their bonus. So realistically, the bounce back for them, it's not expected, but it's one that's not really that much of a surprise. The problem now for Liquid is they're back on these pistols once again. In fact, for Cryptix, he's invested basically nothing. Scream's just gone for a little bit of extra shields as well. So this round in general is a very small investment.
Look at how BDS are fighting for these ult orbs as well. Swinging out on C long, it's more of a conventional peek, but actually avoiding, or sorry, completely denying Team Liquid the ult orb on A long. They use up a smoke, they spam it, they use a recon behind the smoke, and then follow up with a shock dart. They're guaranteeing that Team Liquid do not have that orb, or at least that they're paying very, very heavily for it. Now, the strange thing is that in the late stage, I don't believe they've picked up that orb on A long themselves, despite sending their Sage there. And instead, they've completely shifted direction towards the C site, where they're easily going to overrun them and take a plant on the back.
I swear, it almost looks like Akuma is playing an entry fragging Astra. It's really weird. He seems to be taking the first fight in most rounds. And you notice there, he hadn't actually placed his stars down yet. So he still had his utility. That was just part of the plan for him to place it down after he gets the opener. Rodin, of course, is cleaning up a lot of these pistols. We know how expensive that Hunter's Fury can be now. The most expensive ultimate we have in the game at the moment. And he's already got it online. Takas will be there to keep this round as flawless as can be. 4-1 for BDS again. The opening rounds, the early stages, are looking incredible.
The fact that Hunter's Fury costs 8 and Hoppy can literally have his ultimate online every 3 rounds in the form of Phoenix's Run It Back is pretty insane if you think about it.
Yeah, Seekers as well as only 6. Like, those two ultimates Seekers, for me are like incredibly strong, and they're both really cheap. So, you know, Riot has their favorites. Let's put it another way.
You can, with Phoenix, have a player who is alive twice in a round, basically every...
It's pretty good. Oh, Scream. Looking to battle into mid. We know that this move to Jet is one that I think he's been looking for individually, giving him that little bit of extra freedom, the chance to escape after those early duels. And for now, it's going incredibly well. Yumpy as well onto his operator. The weapon pretty much got us all excited the second we saw him switch to Valorant. And well, now it's Logan. He's a man we know for clutches, but this surely has to be a bridge too far. 1 versus 5, players on site ready and waiting. And sure, he has the spike, but that's about the only silver lining in this round.
Well, Tom, I've returned. Another technical hiccup. These things happen. But I come back to see Logan by himself, and it's not a pretty sight. Good answer back by Team Liquid. I was going to say before I departed that it is just funny that Phoenix is 6 orbs and Omen is 7. Like,
you
know how powerful that Omen ultimate is. Very dangerous these days. Of course, it's about as useful as a recon arrow. It's just to say it's useful,
It's
but
not
it doesn't
about the ult,
recharge
Mitch, it's about how
for
you
40
use
seconds.
It. There you go.
10 seconds
Yeah,
left.
motion of the ocean and all that. Yeah, Logan's going to be carrying this weapon forward, saving it into the next round, unless he's got a spin bot for the next 2 seconds, and it doesn't look like that's the case. 4-2 we go. Team Liquid, they clock up another round in the early stages. And Tom, you know what's impressive about this? Within the first 6 rounds, we've seen Liquid win a buy round.
Is that really the road you're going down? They are on the defense.
Based on last map, that's very impressive.
Yeah, on the defense,
That's
they're
true, yeah.
already
Wait till
very
their
impressive.
attack.
If anything, you could say
Yeah, it's their attack.
for them to get as many rounds is now impossible. So it's already a worse defensive half than the last map.
Well, a worse defensive half on Haven than on Split, I think, is something
True.
that it comes as standard. it's expected of you.
I'm just using your own weird math against you.
Look at the push up here by Scream. Confidence play right off the bat. They're going to have a deep flash, I think, from Solkas to reveal if anybody's there when they eventually want to push. Although, actually, they will have heard the Killjoy turret at this point, which I realize is placed outside. So further aggression is not really possible. And already, they're getting onto the site and going for the plant, trying to bait out some of this utility. The Rolling Thunder was likely to be popped, but it didn't come in. And so instead, they'll just plant it now and then sit back. It's a very peculiar round.
The flank is going to be spotted as well. The timing for Scream. He looks away, and that gives a kill to Logan. Soulcast needs to get something, otherwise they're going to be able to hold on to these flanks. And they've also put up that Cosmic Divide. It's going to make these pushing back in very, very difficult. Hoppy on the other side. It's just going to walk through. No flash, no nothing. Try to catch someone off guard. And instead, well, he goes down. Luckily, it seems like the rest of the team are actually just falling back. Now, they put a smoke down to maybe try and bait in a few players to pull them in to try and get them to go down to the spike. And also, less likely to hunt if you think that this is still being challenged for. And again, we've had some weird rounds. There's players saving for the majority of it, but that fast execution from BDS is enough to grant their 5th.
Clean as can be, really. I mean, the bounce back from the previous rounds, exactly what you want to see. I'm also taking a look, and they have a bunch of ultimates online over on the defensive side. They committed Seekers last round, right? And outside of that, still the Rolling Thunder to work with. The problem is, again, as we've said many times, when it comes to Cryptix and Yampy, their ultis are, I wouldn't say useless so much as very situational. You can't decide to change this round by using one of their ultis because the opportunity doesn't always present itself in the way that you want. Whereas when you look at BDS, every single one of their ults is pretty damn impactful. Even Akuma's in the right situations, like the previous round, can make things very difficult for your opponents.
That's so good from Link. He denies that extra space that was being granted to Hoppy. Not only throws in the fault line to slow him down, but now he has to fall back. But Akuma, as said, he's almost playing how Boaster does. That lurk straight into the site. He's only going to get himself one, though. Again, it's Link, and they tried to clear him off the back of the site with the Hunter's Fury, but nothing's going to be found. He's managed to slip his way through into the corner, and he's trying to set up that ultimate to delay them that little bit longer, just surviving past the Nano Swarm, and not going to give anything up just yet. Watching and waiting. But I think the main play here actually comes in from Hoppy, trying to swing back onto the corner. Soulcast denies him any further, and there comes the Rolling Thunder, leaving them stuck in the mud.
Yeah, they're dead. They're dead. Double kill from the Aftershock. He Rolling Thunders them so they can't even leave. They can't wide swing, but they can't go anywhere because the Aftershock's taking them down. It's all up to Roden in a 1v3. He's won the clutch from the exact same position in the past, but very different circumstances that time around. 10 seconds on the clock, 2 enemies to take down, and the first will be the end of him. That is another round for Team Liquid, and the game of ping pong begins as we go back and forth.
As I was sort of saying earlier, that I think when watching Shadow, he's probably my favorite player to see on the breach. I'll be honest, over the last couple of maps, I think Link has given him a run for his money. This is another player where I just put them in the bracket of can do anything. Like, you think about some of the agents that he's pulled in over the last few months, like working in Brimstone, a lot of people thinking that was ludicrous, alongside the likes of Fnatic, who are doing the same. And now just making this breach look excellent. Every single piece of utility valuable in the way that he's held on to. He got 2 kills with a damn aftershock, for God's sake. Like, that shouldn't be happening ever.
Yeah, it was such a nice combination. Just his utility as well. He didn't need anybody else. His Rolling Thunder, his Aftershock, and his spray to keep them tucked in position. Oh, that one's not connected, so we won't see. The Sulk is feeling too much pressure. In fact, he's feeling the opposite. He goes out wide looking for kills and instead finds only death. Yes, BDS have a man disadvantage, but look at the health of Scream, and Link and Yappy fall right away. The res comes in and Scream's all alone. That operator stands, a beacon by itself, and well, it doesn't feel like 3 more kills are all too likely. So Scream is hightailing it and conceding a 6th round to BDS. The attack side looking very good. What? that was interesting. Can he even save this weapon over? That's more the question, because they know it's an operator. They want to hunt him down, I'm sure. And already coming in through... Oh no, caught with his knife out, man. It's the worst way to go, really, isn't it?
Well, it is going to be 6-3. Now, the thing is, I was thinking that there was not that much of a chance that they would actually hunt down Scream after he gets that pick. So the fact that they actually managed to remove that gun from his hands, it means that Yumpy likely not going to have too much going into the next round. And realistically now, that we kind of look at this as, yeah, sure, the back and forth is something for them, but it's putting Liquid far more on the back foot than BDS. Like, they've still got a little bit of economy to spare, and they're seemingly just doing so much with these faster pushes. Scream, well, he might not have the operator to chuck over, but he has got the Blade Storm. Probably the most impactful of the ultimates we're going to see in this round, and he's going for a little bit more, trying to give them some sort of early advantage, because right now, they are in a weaker position.
He's only got the 1 knife left, and it's going to go straight into the box. That's a disappointment. And the ultimate... Oh, wait, does he have 1 more? I swear I just saw him pull out the knife. Was that his actual knife? That must be it. It's confused me.
Can't throw that one.
Sizzle's definitely offline at this point. That freaked me out, I'll be honest. I didn't know what was going on. That was it. See, whatever way he pulled it out, I was like, wait, he has another? Yeah, I think BDS had this one on lockdown. Really,
Did they just save?
It doesn't look like... I thought they were, but now they're starting to move forward, posturing with a flash. There's 2 players close right, and it's just a firing squad, man. Along with the Astra Star, when you're retaking the A site through, first of all, that late, which means that you have to be explosive. You gotta go fast. You're running through Astra utility. You have a Sage wall there, which is extra cover and elevation for your opponents to be on. I mean, you're not getting away with it all too often. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that hold looked incredibly easy. You have to now consider as well that that was a fairly heavy investment coming in. The Blade Storm also utilized, and now we've ended up with sort of 2 kind of crappy buys coming out for Liquid. Like, there's going to be another few rifles in, another shotgun, but this time on Soulcast, and Cryptics with a pistol. Like, they're almost giving just extra momentum over to BDS because we're not seeing rounds with actual 4-buys.
Deploying drone.
It's sloppy, right? It's all over the place. I mean, it's one of the problems when you're down this much. You try to take a couple of risks, or a few players do, and all of a sudden your economy goes completely out of control. Still, with 3 Vandals to play with over on Team Liquid, Yampy's making good use of the first. Down on 2 HP. This guy's on the way. heals can be found. What is this man doing? He's on the site already, and good for a double kill. It's all down to Roden. Guess what? It's a 1v3. Guess where he is? C long. It's the third time this game, but he's not winning it this time around. Scream is a lunatic, man. Can you imagine playing against Scream and Yampy at the same time? Like, Yampy's just sprayed them through a smoke, and then Scream dashed onto site, taking 2 kills in an instant. What do you do?
Yeah, I feel like every time I think I know who's going to be winning the round, it just completely goes in the other direction. Like, this is just madness. Like, the risk that he's able to take on this agent, like, we sort of expected him in the past to be that second man, and it was Yumpy to take the risk and him to be the one following up. It almost seems that they've just put him into that pure entry fragger role, which I'm never going to doubt Scream to be able to do that. Impressive stuff to take that site back from the clutches of a team that had everything to play with. And he's not stopping. He's going pushing. He's trying to bait Akuma into the peak. He's got a decent idea. And of course, Scream is not going to lose that battle.
No, he's not. Yeah, on that push as well, he had the paranoia, the flashes coming in, the blind up. And I love that the way that... Ooh, you gotta be a little bit too close to that one, buddy. But Hoppy's in trouble. Flash. Oh, there's the ultimate. Okay, they need to defend him, though. More players got to siphon over towards middle. Tak is already down. Hoppy's ult canceled. They're going to push on him, and they've taken him down. That's the judge on Yampy getting heavy damage done and leaving Logan all alone. Oh, they are coming for him, hunting him down in the final round. I don't think I've ever seen as many players facing at once.
Yeah, well, he definitely can't isolate any duels, that's for sure. They're all facing him at once. Solid round again. I'm liking the aggression from Scream on this map. And more importantly, I'm liking the fact that it isn't just Scream. Like, we've even seen it in some of the previous maps, for example, when we were looking at Split, where we had Akuma, like, taking very risky peaks. This is very different. Like, this is a full setup that they have to dominate Ceylon, get themselves the orbs as well, and more importantly, they've been getting openers in a multitude of different rounds. Now, it's definitely not the prettiest of halves for Team Liquid, but if I've learned anything today, they can always bring it back.
Yeah, you know what? At 7-5, I don't think I'll count them out, considering the 10-2 return. The prediction over on Twitter was that they were going to make a 12-0 comeback this time around. Ooh, it's a nut. You love when you hit those, man. Just strafe peek out on mid right at the start of the round, and he's dead. And that was very quiet popping because it's silenced. If it was a classic, it'd be more like, you know what I mean? More of a click. Do a frenzy for me, Tom.
Absolutely not. There is Valorant on right now. I'm not a soundboard. You've got one of those already. I know. I've heard enough things from it. But here we go. Looking like the execution about to be coming in. Liquid have got themselves that opener. Roden trying to lurk within the smoke. He's dropped the spike, but he needs to do so much more. He'll take a second for his troubles, but it's left to Akuma. 1 versus 3. At least one player low, but he's being guarded by the headshot machine himself. A bodyguard many would want to have, but he's actually managed to sneak his way past. He doesn't know Scream's this close, though. Absolutely no clue as to how the timing worked out in such a manner. The Liquid have got their 6th, and it's game on.
What a timing on that push out. The fact that he manages to get all the way up on site and nearly walk away with a bunch more. Look at this. 1 for Roden, ends up grabbing himself another, but it's his teammate just sneaking out. Akuma able to just rat his way onto site. You had Roden and Rodent, but didn't work in the end. 7-6, Team Liquid with that pistol round under their belt there, looking good to tie this one up and make it a nice 7-7. I'm curious actually on their strat in this round, because for BDS, they're playing majority classics, so usually you'll see teams group up and try to take the fights together. I think especially on a moment map like this. But Akuma just, what was that, man? And he wins it as well.
Are you able to just say that Tom will not be given a free Lamborghini? Because honestly, at this point, I just feel like whatever you say, the opposite happens. And I would love to get some free stuff. So, if you wouldn't mind.
Tom's gonna win the lottery. There you go. I got you.
Oh.
I mean, I've already predicted Ricks for them. You know, I gave them I gave them the caster's curse. They still managed to knock Alliance out, so what can I do?
Yeah, but they might have already lost. So it might have just come a little bit later on in the day. It's going to be the push through from Cryptics, at least evening things up a little bit. They've got a few low players, and with Soulcast being the first to drop, it's a problem for the heals. Hoppy has already found another. I think that was another individual duel as well with Classics, Mitch, just to point that one out.
One down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be? There's another one for Logan. At least he had a teammate with him this time around. Going out, he's managed to pick up a Spectre with 9 bullets and 2 opponents. Those are not favorable odds. 7-7 we go. The upside here is that a lot of damage has been done. You're going to get sick of us saying that, but when you come into a round like that, you've got Classics and a Sheriff, and you manage to get 3 kills. That is a big win.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, we'll see if they can turn it into something in these next rounds, because if I've learned anything, that even with some of the weaker weapons, Liquid can definitely make it work. Also, Link being the one on the Spectre as well, we know that a lot of the time he's going to be using that utility to try and put players like Scream into position. And with him still on a Vandal, they have to be a little bit careful. Maybe not. Rodent, he's actually just going to go pushing all the way through. A bit of a spam coming, but it's Scream. The instant headshot to shut him down. Something that was a real problem for them on Split was just how much ground was being taken away from them by BDS and their aggressive plays. This time, it's a shutout.
Attackers had that wall primed and ready. It's going to buy him a higher position up on top of the box. Okay. Obviously, with it broken open, the idea here is that Team Liquid will hope that they're now a little bit more conscious of a short push. But Takas is going to peek out. He's going to see nobody's here. And on that, the rotation's already underway. Akuma making his way towards the B site. And maybe further on towards C. This could shift everything towards this site, which is already stacked up on utility. Not just from Astra of Akuma, but also from Logan on the Killjoy. Liquid are about to run into it, but it's not as stacked up as it could be. Nanoswarm's active. It's not the biggest of deals. That's to stop a jet dash on site. It's only going to last a second. Then we get your shadow step across. That'll get destroyed in a moment. Easy plant. There's not really much you can do about it. Spamming through the smoke stone well for Hoppy at the start, but well, that's a thorn in the side.
The 180 from Soulcast, unbelievable. Again, he's been having a worldie of a day, and this is looking like Liquid about to take the lead in their bonus round. Bear in mind, I think they kicked this one off with just 1 rifle in play. They've now upgraded to have, what, an extra 3 from what they started with, retrieving every single one along the way. And now Logan and Takas have no choice. They've just got to try and hold on to their weaponry. Liquid are going to take themselves the lead again after a slow start into the map. And now it looks like Liquid are not going to let them get away with these weapons. They are looking to battle, already pushing into heaven. You can see Link is ready and waiting, only going to throw away the SMG, but he's given his teammates info about where these last couple of players are. Is there going to be a wallbang? Anything attempted? Oh, it's close, but Logan will survive.
Dangerously close. Liquid take the lead now, 8-7. They're sitting comfortably up there. The money credits starting to roll. And, you know, for BDS, we said that it's a really tough mental position to be in, and it definitely is. But the good thing to look at is that their defensive half hasn't really started yet. At this stage, you know, they've managed to get basically one round that you're going to be upset about. Other than that, it's... okay. You can shrug it off, that's for sure. And Takas, right off the bat, there's Yampy gone. You're going to get walled up again for that little bit of short control. Now they're only worried about long, where there's...
What?
Takas just died to that?
Okay, I know I said that Link is good with those aftershocks, but I have absolutely no idea how he's just died to that. That makes little to no sense. I don't know. And the worst thing is you have to sit in the 3 blasts.
How, man? How did he die to that? I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, but this is nice. What a good spot from Logan coming down. Hoppy from afar with the Sheriff is deadly. And it's left to Scream. He knows where both of these players are at this stage, but with 64 HP. Oh, well, look at this. At least he's got some luck on his side. They're gambling on A. He's about to plant on C side.
The problem is he doesn't have, obviously, all the information that we do of the positions that they're currently holding.
30
Slowly going to
seconds
clear
left.
out the site. Now, if he can get himself a more aggressive plant, maybe that gives him a chance. But the time that's being wasted is only going to give more over to BDS to make that realization. And in fact, he's really trying to spot out where these remaining players are. Instead, no one's going to give him that 1v1 duel. And he's going to have to just run back and get the spike down. And with nothing being heard on the other
10
side of the map,
seconds left.
I'm sure eventually BDS are going to make that realization. Now, Screen, again, needs to try and isolate one of these duels. But he has no idea where they're coming from.
They also have a recon dart at this point, and that's where Roden just gets a hell of a lot of information. In Scream's position, it's quite likely that he gets revealed. They haven't shot it. They're creeping onto site, completely blind. Okay, well, at least if they stick together, they can win this. They go for individual duels, and, well, I would say that was a good attempt to throw the round away by BDS, but they get it in the end. 8 on the board now.
Yeah, the tough thing for Scream in that situation is, as you, like, I get what you mean. Like, it was very risky for them to just walk onto the site, but he had absolutely no idea. Like, they could have come from anywhere. They used the recon, and sure, it gives up that little bit of extra data. Probably does tell them where he is as well, which in a 2v1, you'd still expect them to win. But for Scream, unfortunately, just not holding the right angle. And this time it will slip away from them. A big victory again. I really liked the sort of tiered defense in mid of like one falls. There's still another couple a little bit further back. A solid hold. And of course, a weak buy victory for BDS, putting them right back in the running.
Surely Breach's hand can turn into like a fork and stuff as well, right?
Why is that?
Like,
what
you
you're
wouldn't
thinking
just
about?
program it.
Hungry Mitch?
No, I
Can it turn
I
into
just
a
saw it.
burger?
I just saw the fault line and thought, I wonder if this, like, you wouldn't just program it to transform one way. It'd be like a fork. It'd be, I don't know, like a
mouse?
screwdriver. Like, it'd be everything, you know?
Okay, well, Mitch Man is hungry, for anybody wondering. In the meantime, Liquid might actually have themselves a free A site. It's a big gamble on the other side of the map. Maybe a potential retake being attempted. Now, as we mentioned on Split, BDS, they're solid in their retakes, but this A site can be relatively difficult. Now, we're going to see, actually, the ultimate thrown in, the Rolling Thunder, which, sure, it will clear out the site, but there's absolutely no one here to clear out in the first place. Scream just jumped straight into the arms of Roden, who's trying to do as much damage as he can with the shock darts. But if anything, Mitch, he's already done enough. He's given them an advantage as they go into the retake.
Hey, not only could he have got that kill if the knives were on point, there's a chance he catches them with shock dart out. Hunter's Fury catches a kill, or a damage rather, a connection straight away. Hoppy not able to get anything done in the ultimate, but Akuma dives on down and is good for 2 as always. You can rely on Akuma to get it done. Yampy's got a 1v3 on his hands, and it's not going to be easy. That wall remains up so they can get it to halfway. They're pushing through though. The opportunities are there, but not connected on. The defuse signals BDS retaking the lead 9-8. The close series, the ping pong of rounds and leads continues on into the late stages, and this is going to be defined by a very small margin in the end. Remember, the loser of this match is out of VCT for this leg, which is pretty huge. They'll have to wait a couple weeks before being able to have another chance in this stage. And that is certainly not where anyone wants to be. Plus, they probably have to play in with KO, which is a completely different meta at that point.
It's a terrifying prospect, that's for sure. We've seen so many new teams that have looked incredibly solid. And of course, the old boys with the new tricks. It's a narrow escape for Yumpy. Oh, dear Lord. He's just about going to hold on to that one. Akuma lurking in the smokes. I would say the hero of the last round. We had ultimates thrown in. And it was him just jumping through from heaven, actually getting kills onto the site. He's going to be lurking within this smoke. That jet cloudburst is going to fade fairly quickly, but actually Cryptix has picked him off anyway. Liquid have found 2 openers into this B site, and it's looking very good, other than Cryptix kind of cooking in the corner.
Oh, that wasn't nice for Hoppy, running in to try and be the difference maker, but in the end, he doesn't get it done either. Takis finds himself a kill. He's going to move to backside, has the res, but well, actually there is a res that he could go for. over towards the A side, but Yampi's even flanking that out. Solka's behind them on that side. And dude, there was no way they got away with that. That was so well played by Team Liquid. They have a flanker on A flanker in Garage, and 2 guys holding the fort on the B side. Well, you can't do anything about that. You'd have to look in every direction all the time.
I actually think that from a lot of the rounds I've been seeing recently, including in the game versus Fnatic on Haven, Liquid's B-site execution, even if it's with pistols, has looked incredibly strong. And so it's a site that we talk about regularly about how incredible the retakes have been, or how easy in a lot of cases they've been. But I've stopped seeing that so much. I think a lot of teams have started to utilize those flanks so well that people are really starting to struggle to actually hold onto these B-sites in retake rounds. And by the looks of it, we're seeing some utility just being placed early by BDS to try and stop this exact fact, because that was too easy for Liquid. So of course they're going to try it again.
Naturally. Yeah, the thing about this side is you can't play it the way you do any other side in pretty much any game or any map, here at least. Holding it down directly isn't always easy or possible. Rodin doing a good job of it to start, but look who snuck all the way through. Scream now in their spawn practically, and Takas has his knife out, getting caught completely unaware. Scream keeps it going for another. And that is it. They've got the A side. They can walk right on. It's free real estate. Leaving. Scream is still lurking around here. They're about to come out. Still unaware. He's practically on the same spot. Another dash online, but he re-peaks the angle for 4. That's disgusting. A display of confidence that we love to see from Scream. And a lead to Liquid because of it. 10-9 now.
See, it's funny watching this Liquid composition versus the one that they were running before. Like, we almost called it the, like, delaying comp. It was no duelist. They were sat back. They were using all this utility to basically make teams run out of time. You had Link, for example, just basically using smokes to constantly just slow people down again and again. I want to call this the Scream comp. Like, man is just running around, opening up, and just destroying anyone that comes into his path. That's 2 rounds in a row now. He's just walked into B and basically won his teammates around.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I said Rodin was doing a good job on the site, and he was, but that small gap seized by Scream instantly. The confidence of him just to walk straight on in. Doesn't give a damn. But that's what you get. Years and years of competitive FPS training for this. He knows exactly how to read these situations, how to see the gaps, and again, we're seeing it. He's inside of Garage, holding down below. The rest of the team presumably set to pressure another part of the map and open up the space for Scream to make a huge play. They're actually going to drone it out. Look at how paranoid they are at this stage. And indeed, he will be spotted. Looking to fall back. He'll get there.
Yeah, the clock running a little bit low, though. 40 seconds for them to make their move. A lot of utility been placed down fairly early by BDS. This time, though, it's Yumpy. That 1-2 punch. The aftershock. Well, actually, Scream's gonna cook 3 hits! Oh, Logan's never going to expect that. A man running through his own teammate's utility. Takas is only going to be able to get 1, and the remaining 2 players probably left in shock and awe at the audacity of Scream to make those sort of plays, leaving Rodin already making a move back in. The first goes his way, and Hoppy has a 1v2 to win.
It's doable. Both players down on long. He needs to bait them into a fight, and he's got that wall to work with. But that camera, they're going to fire it in randomly. If it connects, this round is over for Hoppy. He's got it halfway already, coming off it now. Worried of the sprays, knowing he can get a fight, and that he does. The molly, perfectly positioned. It's on to Cryptic. He goes out wide, and Hoppy gets him. That's the round for BDS. They're not going anywhere just yet.
How have they won that? How's he managed to do that? That ended up as, I think it was even a 1v3, because he had to get the trade kills as well. That's ridiculous. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Liquid pause. Surely after that. That's got to be infuriating. I thought for a second he was just going to stick it all the way, but just managing to bait them into the peak, soulcast the freebie, and then still having the hot hands at the end. I'm not even sure if it quite reached to Cryptix. Like, the back looked like he might have been clear, but he can't just sit behind it, because then the defuse might have come through. Liquid looks so good to take that round, And now they're back at 10-10.
Right there.
It's still anyone's game.
Right there.
Absolutely ridiculous scenes, Tom. That particular clutch, you know, you could see that he had the utility for it, but there was zero room for error. Every single decision had to be perfect. And oh boy, it was. At 10-10, despite a significant lead in that round for sure, Liquid are in a spot where they're tied on up. Their money is pretty good. I heard that countdown sound. You know, it's for the end of, it does it for the end of a timeout.
It was like they weren't
for the end
buying
of the
with
thing.
9,000.
Yeah, I thought Scream had 9k and was going to use Blade Storm and a pistol. And a classic, I should say. I was about to lose my mind, but that makes a little bit more sense.
I'm still surprised he hasn't just gone for something a little bit extra, but I guess just trying to be the bank for the team, relying on the Blade Storm, and you know what?
For the next round.
We've seen what this man can do with it, and he's still going to give Yumpy over an AWP as well, which we know can do so much work. Takas waiting patiently. A risk maybe not worth taking, and Hoppy setting up. Now, you have to bear in mind that the economy is still on the brink for the other side as well. Like, BDS are not rolling in the cash. They've even had to drop down to a Guardian for this round, and in fact, some players are left without any shields at all. So this is crunch time. The winner of this, well, more so, if the winner is Liquid, BDS are in real trouble.
Scout destroyed.
Liquid Scream on his way up close. Player already giving away his position, but the right click misses. Now he's in trouble. He's stuck on the site with a Sheriff, and oh my god, the Guardian. Takas is able to take himself a double. Scream at least answers back, grabs a Vandal, and it's a 2v3. But that ultimate, a lockdown causing problems. Rodin on the flank. The weapon comes out for Scream. They've heard each other, and the fight goes Rodin's way. The teleport to the A site leaves Yampy with an opportunity, the potential to win this one out, but it is nonetheless a 1 versus 3. The spike planted, not quite for him. He's going to TP up, hoping someone was close enough to hear it. In fact, loses a bit of HP on the way down, but with an operator, I mean, not only do I think that's going to have the biggest impact, I don't think he can win this. He has to. Oh, that's so smart. He takes the first. Hoppy can't even get that halfway diffused. He's pushing, but the ultimate's going to dissipate before he gets even close. Yampy now ready to fight on the site. That wall about to fall, and here it goes, holding up close. But a good peek by Logan, waiting for Hoppy to get up there. That was definitely providing the potential for a big mistake. But in the end, they get it with 5 seconds to spare. BDS in the lead, 11-10. But it seems like teams are having a hard time holding on to that lead here on Haven.
Oh yeah, this has been one of the most back and forth maps I think I've ever seen in Valorant. Like, predicting the victor at this point is at the flip of a coin, and realistically there's still going to be enough money for Liquid to at least get a decent purchase. I don't think it's going to be perfect unless there's something dropped on the floor that I've missed. Maybe Yumpy going to be left with, I was going to say a Marshall, but you know what? He's gone for a Judge. So maybe we can expect something a little bit more risky from the man on the Omen.
There's a lot on the line for Liquid in this one. Oh, Rodin. Very early. Very. We talked about it earlier, Tom. I said you don't typically use that Hunter's Fury at the start of the round, but Rodin does. Doesn't garner them much information, at least manages to spot out and tag a player, but Scream's on the site and the plan's coming in. In terms of retake, BDS, like, they're going to be going in for shock darts here, but that's completely under control over on the Liquid side. They plant over at Angel instead, and now they've got this on lock, right? There's a res, there's a cosmic divide, but the impact of those, it's not often massive.
Oh, I
Rolling
like
Thunder, on the other hand.
Counter ultimate. It gives
Oh, no.
Yumpy a chance, but Takas, well, he's got the one-tap weapon and has to hit the headshot, but that's exactly what he does. It's still time wasted. The fault line is flawless, but they still seem to be just hitting the heads every single step of the way. Scream, he tries his best, but it isn't going to be enough. Logan will take them to 12 rounds on the board. And you know what? They are scraping their way through. I honestly thought that play from Yumpy was going to be the decider.
Match point.
Oh, it was. It was 100%. They were seconds away from winning that round. only that Takas hit that shot. If he doesn't get that kill, it's GG right away. Incredible stuff. It really and truly is. And the way they answer this one back to the Rolling Thunder, look at Takas instantly thinks something's going on here. Why would they Rolling Thunder that and not push in through spawn? There must be a flanker. Goes back, checks it, gets it. And Cryptics killed Takas while full stun. He got the first kill, turned to his right, and then sprayed down the other player. I think connecting a first bullet headshot as well.
I think they know Yumpy's here. Something tells me he's just going to swing out the molly, forcing him from the spot. That's a great early start from BDS. They are looking to close this one now. A third map potentially on the cards. They could have even 2-0'd this. The last map, you have to remember, this was 10-2 in their favor. We questioned if mentally they would have checked out. They came into this map looking strong. And now it's up to Liquid to tear it from them in overtime once again.
They're going for the A site once more. Roden coming in on that operator, knows there's a player on long. That's the freest kill of his life. Even going in for the recon, the shock dart.
Oh, hello.
Oh, but up above, Scream comes in, punishes that peak. Now you've given Scream an operator. Things get very dangerous indeed. He's waiting for the cage to fade away, and he'll look for a kill. Already spotted Akuma, but they're ready for him now. The res is going to come in. And can't quite play with the op anymore. It's been stolen away, so Roden forced to downgrade, but probably just happy to be alive. The rest of his team would be, but Scream keeps on connecting. Solkus on the trade, Cryptics with more, and it looks like they've done it. Takas has to have a huge round, and it just won't happen. Not this time around. 12-11. One more for Liquid to take us to another overtime.
Earlier in the day, I caught myself questioning Scream being back on that jet. Now I'm questioning whether he should be using the operator more, because this was some pretty crispy shots. Double kills, they rotate back into the site. Again, being the decider in that round. The updraft that he pulls in to give them one back from heaven. Even with the res invested into that round, BDS don't manage to close it out. Not what I expected, to say the least. And now look at the money. Both teams having their issues, but it's definitely worse for BDS.
Yeah, with Liquid having that Blade Storm and Scream hitting shots the way he is, I would be pretty scared if I was BDS. You take a look at the weaponry in play, and it's 2 Spectres along with Guardians, but I don't quite want to count out the Guardians just yet. On that A flank and the C holds, they have been so important. Yampy in trouble, peeked up close. He got around the corner, and Link found the second. Here comes Scream for more, and this is looking pretty convincingly like we're hitting an overtime. Scream trying to style on them. But puts it into a 2-man advantage. Liquid are definitely ahead in this one, but it is losable, Tom. They have to be cautious to hold on to it.
Yeah, we've seen spots like this before, and these spots seem to be where BDS thrive, but this time it's left to one man. Takas, the 1v4 turn 3. All 3 players waiting, nothing to section them off either. He can try and heal himself midway through the battle, while there is no chance. At least hits himself a solitary kill. But it will be 12-12, and I am so scared for BDS that this is going to get ripped out of their hands again.
Look at Scream. 29 right? And 15. He's an all right player. I think I've never heard of this guy before, but he seems decent. I actually noticed just in this game, first game obviously I've seen him, is one taps. They seem to be actually pretty all right. He doesn't need to spray that much. So
some would say he's a machine when it comes to the headshots.
Yeah, you could say that, Tom, actually. You know, I've heard like a lot of people talk about them, but I think it might catch on, Tom. I think it might. But hey, 12-12, enough messing about. There's an Odin in play. Yampy has pulled out the Odin for the garage hold. That I'm curious about. Oh, that's damage right off the bat.
He's caught a little bit. Back in return. It looks like the plan from BDS is to go for a similar play to what we saw success from for Liquid.
Oh my God.
Okay, that happened. Oh, the freebie kill coming through for Yumpy. Maybe this is his weapon of choice. We know he loves a niche gun, and this time he's going to be punished for it. Soulcast looking to wrap, but again, they know that Logan likes to hold towards the back. The problem is, can they clear him out this time? Because that's been something they've struggled with so far. Almost caught with utility, but Soulcast will live to tell the tale.
Does he check close left here? Oh, Link does. He's so ready for it. Oh, Solkas, come on, man. He's just too good. Logan now on 30 HP has got it all to do. The Aftershock almost took him down. And this mid swing, they're spraying before he even comes around the corner. 13 to 12. BDS again faced with the opportunity to close out a map, brought to overtime and pushed to the limit. If they lose this round, this will be one of the most heartbreaking series for them. They've had the opportunity to win both of these maps, and they will go out of this leg of VCT. I cannot imagine a worse fate.
This would be the worst way to be eliminated ever. Because realistically, they were on map point on both maps. And they were convincingly in the lead at times. So if they lose now, I don't know. Someone's going to need a hug. And it might be me, because I don't know. This is starting to get to the point where even I'm feeling very guilty for them. But it's not done. They could still bring things back from the depths. It is going to be that B take. I mentioned it before. This has been something hugely successful thus far, and this man is the core of it. Taking the site through. Hoppy wants to try and challenge for it. He's got his flash in hand, but Scream is just waiting patiently as his teammates look to try and rotate into position. They still have the flashes available, but they're hoping that someone makes some sort of mistake, and they are going to fight for it. And Takaz, through the wood, gets rid of the danger man in the form of Scream.
No charges.
That is such a valuable kill to have. Not only is he obviously the top fragger, but he's the player that's been getting so much space and harassing any sort of map control out of the hands of BDS on this attack side. That man advantage, it might not last long. Solkas quickly traded, though, to leave BDS in the lead. 3 players primed to just push out from the C side of things. Cryptix has to be huge here, and only the one for him. Link left on 10 HP. He's going to be flashed, but makes it around the corner. Yampy's flank hasn't been detected, and as check it, he's going to be sideswiped as well. It's all down to Link on this one, and with 10 HP, he has to be so careful. Roden baits it out, and the shot from Link confirms it. BDS are out of Challengers 1 with an absolutely unbelievable play from Team Liquid to make the comeback on map 1 and finish here 14 to 12. What an incredible series we've just witnessed.
I don't